Now it's Sparich taking the shot, scores! What a move! What a goal! How about that?
Angles his way to the net, scores! Oh my goodness!
What's up, folks? This is NOJHL Game Day. Alex Bastiavansky here. Welcome back inside our league studio, and fasten your seatbelts as there are some Titanic tilts ready to go down today. Let's get you all set up before the puck drops in just a few minutes.
If I had to pick a candidate for the most valuable player in the league this year, it has to be Lucas Signoretti.
Can he make a three? Backdoor feed, they score! Lucas Signoretti! MVP for me would have to be Lucas Signoretti at this point. I mean, how can it not be? He's already on pace to break his single season total points.
Signoretti stops up, takes the shot, he scores! Lucas Signoretti gives the Cubs the victory.
No question about it. Sudbury forward Lucas Signoretti is the heavy favorite to win his second straight league MVP award, and for good reason. The runaway NOJHL points leader this season has been dominant, but ever the perfectionist, he's still not satisfied.
To be blatantly honest with you, I've been good so far, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement. So every single game, regardless of how the game goes, I'm kind of looking at what I can improve on and taking that into the next game.
A Sinaway with Lucas Signoretti, a Sinaway waiting, backdoor! Lucas Signoretti scores again!
The 20-year-old is in his first season as a Sudbury Cub after playing in Espanola last year, and he's found immediate chemistry with line mate Samuel Asinaway, who just happens to be second in league scoring.
Oh, it's amazing. At stake, we both know what's going on here. We're both 20-year-olds, so I think we've kind of just put our mind on the same mission and just tried every single day to work as hard as we can to get there.
Standing just 5'6", Lucas has patterned his game after Boston star Brad Marchand, another player of slightly shorter stature on the ice, who plays much bigger than his size.
As a lot of people know, Marchand isn't the biggest guy out there. So I just think for me that was really something that I looked up to. Like, I'm not the biggest guy out there either, so being able to go out there with the confidence that I have and play the way that I know I can, I think that's what he showed me.
As for his time in the Nickel City, Signoretti couldn't be happier to be a Sudbury Cub.
It's been amazing and it's been fun. Everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I've had great relationships with all my teammates since. It was a really easy kind of move over to this team.
Lucas hopes to move on to the next level after this season, but for now, he's laser focused on helping the powerful Cubs get back to the Centennial Cup.
Beyond the season, I'm looking to go NCAA. I've been in contact with a couple schools thus far, but I'm looking on the season right now. We have a national championship that I'd like to get to, and as much as committing and things after hockey right now are amazing, I want to focus on what's at hand. And I think if we do that and everything takes care of itself, I'm going to have the opportunity to kind of pick and choose wherever I'd like to go.
Here's Lucas Signoretti on a shorthanded breakaway! Scores! And he's got 4 on the night!
Lucas and his mates were hosting Iroquois Falls last night, and it was a heck of a game.
On property of the Sudbury Wolves after his rights were traded by Sarnia before the OHL trade deadline. Trying to walk towards the net, Dewey in front, they score! Jaden Lyons on the tap-in, and Iroquois Falls gets the first goal of the night! Cohan to get it out, 2-on-1 for Sudbury. Klinkhammer with Cohan. Klinkhammer with Cohan to the net, shot save, rebound, scores! Noah Cohan follows up the rebound on the Klinkhammer shot. Jordan Mayo had his back turned to Brady Bouchard. Now the Cubs are 2-on-1 into the zone. Walker, backdoor feed, what a save, Solomon, rebound, scores! Now look out on a breakout, Alexandre St. Pierre into the zone he comes, scores!
Wow.
Alexandre St. Pierre, this game is tied at 2. Pass for Walker at the top of the circle, couldn't corral it cleanly. And now pass in front, they score! Ben Harris on the redirect! And Sudbury's got the lead back with 4:26 to go in regulation.
The Storm give the Cubs a scare, but Sudbury manages to squeak out the victory. On tap tonight, the Cubs will be in Timmins to face off with the Rock. Last time they played, the Cubs won 3-1 back on November 8th, and they have won both their games against Timmins this season. Sioux Eagles in French River to tangle with the Rapids. The Eagles on a 3-game losing streak right now. The Sioux won 5-2 last time the teams played back on December 6th. Blind River taking on the Sioux Thunderbirds. Beavers 3-1 against the T-Birds so far this season, and Blind River's hot right now, having won 8 of their last 10 games. Kirkland Lake playing Powassan. The Voodoos 2-0 against the Miners this year, but Kirkland Lake has been looking good lately. They've won 2 of their last 3, and those 2 wins were against the powerful Sioux Eagles. Iroquois Falls facing off with Espanola. The teams have split 2 games this season up to this point. The Storm won 7-6 last time they faced off back on December 7th. Primetime player from last night is Justin Sullivan from Iroquois Falls, who was named the game's first star against the Cubs. He stopped 35 of 38 shots, bringing the Storm so close to pulling off the big upset against Sudbury. Play of the day brought to you by BrokerLink. Auto, home, and business insurance. BrokerLink, life is confusing. Your insurance shouldn't be. We're going back to Sullivan now for this grand larceny against the Cubs.
Now up the wing, Harris got a man to the net, but he drops it back for Lucas Signoretti. Signoretti, glove save by Sullivan. Roll it back and hang on to that one. Justin Sullivan with leather larceny on the Cubs.
Yeah, and just remember, of course, that to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the NOJHL, you can head to the league's official social media outlets. Thanks so much for watching. Now it's off to the rink for puck drop. Enjoy the game.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Brand. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
And we welcome you inside the Powassan Sportsplex for Friday night hockey from the Powassan Sportsplex, as I just mentioned. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent, and we're all set for a game here between the Voodoos and the visiting Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. Ben, should be a doozy here on a Friday night in P-Town.
Absolutely, and Powassan flying high after a couple of big wins against Blind River and the Sioux on last weekend, and they come in this weekend against a Kirkland Lake team that's still looking to find its feet a little bit. Still down at the bottom of the league, and we'll talk about some of the players that are coming in. A lot of former Trappers playing this evening, so we'll get into that as the game goes on.
All right, with that being said, we're just about set for the national anthems, so we'll have to step aside for that quickly, and we'll bring you the starting lineups on the other side of this.
And bright stars through the pavement. rivers by, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly serene, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in our sons command. Car ton pas est porté l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on God.
Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout.
And we're ready here for this one as we get set for the starting lineups between the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners and the Powassan Voodoos. It looks like up front we'll have Sakic, Abrish, and Nobes, followed by Tingay and Collison in the net. We have Caleb Schuker, who's 1-3 in his short time in Kirkland Lake so far, with a 632 goals against average and 836 save percentage. And here's Ben with your Powassan Voodoos starting lineup.
So Justin Russo moving off the top line. It's McGunthin, Cal, and Viscu. We'll talk a little bit more about why Russo dropped down to the fourth line here in a little bit. Smith and Rotundo on the back end, and Tyson Wilcox getting the call in between the posts.
Wilcox, he's 7-5 on the year with a 304 goals against and a 924 save percentage. He's been absolutely fantastic for the Voodoos this year. As quickly the puck down into Voodoos territory. No icing though. The Gold Miners in the road gold jerseys are going left to right to start this one. The Voodoos in their home whites are going right to left, as now the puck is down into Gold Miners territory. The Miners with possession. That's Sackett. Got the puck up, and it was nearly picked off by Powassan. Now the Voodoos do pick it up. Owen Call tried to get over to McGunthin. Call tried to get the loose puck after that, and now the puck's sent right back in to Gold Miners territory again. Flipped down the ice by Kirkland Lake, and Powassan will try to regroup in their own zone. They do as Saginaw gets to it, flips it around the rink for Coleman. Now it's far side. Saginaw flips it out of his zone. Down the ice again. Kirkland Lake with possession once again. And the puck is right back down into Voodoos territory, but beating out the icing are the Gold Miners. Has another chance. And the puck comes loose and out of the zone. Dubroy tried to chase after it, but now it's picked up again by Kirkland Lake. And it's out for Rive to flip it right back in. Gold Miners with possession. That's McCollin that have it. Flipped it down the ice. And now Rive comes along with it. Now it's given away. Coming in, takes the chance, they score! The Gold Miners on the first shot of the game get the puck past Wilcox on a giveaway by the Voodoos in their own zone. That's Fitger's 13th of the season.
Well, it's sloppy play, as you said, right at the blue line, giving away, and then in just an easy, well, nobody there defensively able to pick him up. Wilcox left in no man's land. And, you know, coming into this game, the Gold Miners only have 6 wins on the year, 30 losses, 3 overtime losses. But it kind of shows you that at any point, any team can beat you in this league, and it's a little bit of a wake-up call for the Voodoos here.
Smith plays it around. Fittger plays it, though, and disrupts it. Now Boyes takes a hard hit, and the puck right back down. Rotundo exacting a little bit of revenge on that hit. On the far side, it's Whitelaw. Whitelaw up for Rotundo. Rotundo dodges a hit, gets the puck out of his own zone, and the Gold Miners have possession again at their blue line. Thrown to the near side. Fittger, the goal scorer. Nearly got another hold on it, but instead Misa gets to it. Misa battling for it on the near side. And it comes out. Sharp angle chance. Wilcox makes the save. Secondary rebound is right there, but it never made its way. And now Rotundo roofs it right off the screen right in front of us, and that'll go to play.
Well, a shaky start here for Peter Goulet's team. A freshly shaven Peter Goulet, you don't see too often. But, yeah, the Gold Miners have come out really firing, and really it's what they have to do in this kind of game. They know that the skill, there's a bit of a disparity there between these two teams. They've got to come out and try to do as much as they can early on. It's going to be a tough night, potentially, for the Voodoos.
Voodoos playing shorthanded, of course. They have two U18 trappers on the ice, and Owen Head and Ben Brunton. And both of them over a point-a-game player, as there we see the first one out there. That's Ben Brunton, along with Head.
And Brunton, arguably, well, not even arguably, the best player in the Great North U18 League this season.
An absolute ridiculous stat line for him, and the puck's out for Head. Head with speed through the neutral zone, finding Russo. And it just missed Russo. Has a good chance coming here with the affiliate players on the ice.
And Owen Head playing his first game as a Voodoo had the obligatory lone skate to start things off.
Russo in the corner, looking for chances. Gets it back to the blue line. Now it's near side for Coleman off his stick and out of the zone, as the first real time in the offensive zone that the Voodoos have been with this proverbial fourth line.
Yeah, and I really like that idea of putting Justin Russo, a veteran guy, point leader on this team, on that line with the two young guys. As I said, Head's first game. Brunton's only played one other game where he got an assist against the Rapids last year.
Viscu missed the puck. Now Sakic gets it down the ice. Walking back in, sharp angle chance into the corner. And a big hit there thrown behind the net. And the puck comes loose. Now it's Abrish back again with the puck. Behind his net, behind the Voodoo's net, that is. Puck comes loose. McGunthin gets to it. Flips it down the ice, but not very far as it's back into Voodoo's territory now. Viscu with the puck in the neutral zone. Had Tingay all over him. And now the Miners just throw the puck right back down the ice. Rive flips it out, gives it away at the blue line though. And it's picked up by Angelis. Now Dubroy the other way, flips it down the ice, gets it to McGunthin, but not very far down, and that's going to be delayed offside, and that's exactly what it's called. That's 4.5 minutes into the game. The Voodoos are down 1-0.
And they're just not making the right choices in the defensive zone. You see that deciding to go against the box. He had to read a box behind the net as well and opted to try to take it out himself off the sideboards. Ended up giving it away, and a good opportunity for Kirkland Lake. So there's a little bit of rust here. Again, they're just coming off two big wins against two big teams. And you can tell there's a little bit of rust there that might be a slow start.
It has indeed been one. They're still looking for their first shot and goal altogether, too. As the puck still around, it's Cullison battling for it. Does come loose. Cullison has possession, though, now behind his net. Stops up. There's two Voodoos in deep, but they don't really put any pressure on him. As now Cullison looks down the ice. And it's picked up on a high stick by the Voodoos. We talked about Ben Brunton and Owen Head. Brunton, as we mentioned, he's running away with the Great North U18 scoring race with 42 goals and 30 assists for 72 points in just 26 games played with the first place Trappers. That is absolutely ridiculous. Owen Head off to a little bit of a slower start with 10 goals, 20 assists for 30 points.
I think that's a little unfair.
Games.
I'm pretty sure everybody would be on a slower start.
It is. That's why I made that joke. Because his point total of 30 points in 23 games is nothing to sneeze at.
No, and I've had the chance to call a couple of Trappers games, and it's going to be an offside.
Yeah, some rough stuff after the whistle too.
A little bit of hockey bowling there. But yeah, I've had the fortune of being able to see the Trappers play a few times this season, and I always go back to that Kapuskasing game where they ended up scoring 7 goals in one period, and Brunton ended up having, I think, 4 goals in that game.
Ridiculous.
And the one thing that's interesting about him, and I think that's going to be interesting in this game, is I guess one of the negatives you could say is that sometimes he feels he has to take the game on himself, and he tries to do a lot of things on his own. He's not going to be able to do that in this league. There's not as much open space as there is in AAA, and it's going to be very interesting if he comes out and that line gets 3 or 4 points tonight. I wouldn't be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they're relatively quiet either, with just how they have to get used to the style and pace of play.
Well, Brenton is a point-a-game player in his NOJHL career.
He's got 1 game, 1 assist.
Yeah, it's still a point-a-game.
But that's why I love having Russo on there. It's a veteran touch and a really good playmaker, and can really do a lot of good work with 2 great goal scorers.
Abrish got the puck away from Boys. Now Sackett walking in, gets it back to Abrish with the shot, and that one just whistled wide of the net. And now there's a delayed penalty coming. I believe it looks like it's coming against the Miners here. So the Voodoos are going to go to the power play if they keep cooler heads here.
I don't know if I had this on my bingo card when we walked into the building here this evening. It's like it's going
to be Nobes going to the box. He's the top point getter on Kirkland Lake's side with 16 goals, 9 assists, and 25 points in 35 games.
Yeah, not a smart penalty. And as you can start seeing the rough stuff happening early on, both teams are kind of getting in on it. That's exactly what Kirkland Lake wants to do. They want to throw the Voodoos off their game. Again, the Voodoos have shown they're a much better team this year. But even the last time, I remember I called one of these games earlier on in the season. It was a very close game when, you wouldn't expect it to be.
I had the fortune to go up to Kirkland Lake for the Voodoos' last game in KL, which was a victory, but it was a lot closer than one would expect. It was 6-4 on November 2nd. So, and the Voodoos got off to a quick start in that one, with Caden Dubroy scoring like a minute in. This game, it's the Gold Miners that got off to the fast start.
I guess you can call them the Gold Miners. Oh, it's been a day.
I bet you it has been. Rousseau on the power play now, on the far side. Plays it back to Dubroy. Now it's back for Rousseau. He gets it to Whitelaw, or Saginaw rather. Now Rousseau back for Nolan. Nolan to Saginaw. Saginaw flips it down. In behind the net to Dubroy. Now out front for Kratz with a chance, and that one just went wide. It must have hit a body in front, and it's out of play.
Well, one of the people we haven't talked about is Marcus Kratz, one of the 3 stars of the week for the NOJHL, as he's had a fantastic last couple of games.
Yeah, Marcus Kratz, point leader from the back end for the Voodoos. Now Smith gets the Voodoos' first shot on goal on this power play. So this is also the first time, as we mentioned, that the Gold Miners have made the trip down. And because of the jersey change, that means that the Voodoos are going to be seeing Kirkland Lake in that gold jersey all season long instead of the road whites. Now up front, Boys takes the shot, and that one's blocked. Secondary chance stopped by Schuker. Now the puck played back behind the net as Voodoos starting to buzz a little bit on the man advantage call. At the point for Smith. Smith in deep now. Got it to Whitelaw. Whitelaw's pass couldn't connect with Call. And Call's going to have to go back to his own zone. Call back for Smith. Less than a minute on the man advantage here. Gets it up for Misa. Misa skates the puck in. Gets around a couple of Gold Miners. Abrish right there. Sharp angle shot. Put into the corner. Now Whitelaw with another chance. Kicked aside by Schuker. And now another out to the side of the net. It's tipped away by Abrish, and that'll go for high sticking if the Voodoos touch it. And they will as Smith gets to it. As the Call tried to do what he could to keep the puck in the Gold Miners zone.
Well, speaking of Misa, you had a couple of guests in the in Chris Dawson's house the other day.
Yeah, the episode's not out yet. It's coming out probably this weekend or early next week. It's Tyson Wilcox and Riley Misa are the actual guests. Caleb Dawson, Owen Call, and Adam McKillop make appearances as well. Caleb Dawson and Owen Call actually get into the host chair and ask a couple of questions each.
Unfortunately, both Caleb and McKillop not in the lineup. McKillop with an injury. Caleb still serving a suspension.
Along with Heath Bradley.
And
Caden Cowell also out with an injury. But I told the boys, Call and Dawson, I said, you guys, get to say that you co-hosted the show along with the likes of Tom Parisi, Ben Sargent, Harrison Clements, not to mention Ty Nelson. So
I keep forgetting Nelson did, yeah.
Yeah. Couple of big names right there. Big shoes to fill. As now the Voodoos still with the man advantage. Dubois on a good poke check there. Got the puck loose. And now the puck is loose as well. A couple of former Voodoos on the other side, though, is Jeremy Shunborn. He is playing, and Matt Deniz, who is not playing. Both traded to Kirkland Lake at separate points this year. Shunborn right there on the ice going out and getting onto the bench, number 2. Strange to see as he wore 19 here in Powassan, but that number's now going to Saginaw as the Voodoos are penalized here with Jack Nolan going to the box.
I believe it's going to be Consequential Miners there as
Bruce Gray on the other side.
Yeah, a lot of rough stuff as we've seen in the first 9 minutes of, or 8.5 minutes of this opening period. The referee having enough, he's going to step in and make it known that's not going to be okay, as you can imagine if he's going to have a word with those players, if that keeps happening, people are going to keep getting penalized. And it looks like it'll be 4-on-4.
I do have to say, though, my one trip up to Kirkland Lake, the Joe Mavernack is probably one of the best rinks I've seen in this league. It's got a bowl almost. It's like it's more of a horseshoe, but still a bowl nonetheless.
Well,
it just doesn't have seats on the one end.
Interestingly, Nolan going to the Voodoos. Oh, he's leaving, going into the dressing room.
Don't like to see that from a guy who's put up 24 points in 28 games as a Voodoo.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that, though. There's still only 2 minutes on the 2 minutes on the clock there, so we'll have to see maybe if there's any misconduct penalties. Someone else is hopping over into the boards. Looks like that is Saginaw, who's going to be serving the penalty. So we'll have to keep an eye on Jack Nolan.
And the Gold Miners with possession off the draw. Up for Leaners. Leaners walking in. Gets the puck in deep. Not for too long. Now DeBox gets to it. Flipped it out to Cullison at the blue line. It's blocked by Russo. Russo trying to chase after it. And the puck comes loose, trying to get to Viscu. Puck still in deep. Rive kept it in. Cullison plays it around to the far side. And now Viscu picks it up. Along with Russo, getting their wires crossed a little bit. Gets it back to the blue line. Can't keep it in, though. That was DeBox. And now Leaners gets it down into Voodoo's territory. Throws it on Wilcox. And he makes the save. Now the Voodoo's back on the counterattack as Dubois through the neutral zone with speed. Dubois, sharp angle chance. It's turned aside by Schuker. As now coming through the neutral zone again. McCullen lost it though. And the Voodoos, McGunthin almost was off to the races. Picked off again by Kirkland Lake in their own zone. Getting the puck down the ice into Voodoo's territory. Battling for it, but McGunthin comes away with it. Now McGunthin through the neutral zone. Plays the puck in deep. Rotundo got to it. Tried to get it out front for Dubois. Dubois tried to take a shot. Now Cullison falling on the ice. Good chance for Powassan. Sharp angle chance hits the side of the net. And it's going to be covered up with 15 seconds still left on the 4-on-4.
Yeah, so Nolan getting a misconduct there. So it looks like it'll be a game misconduct, as looks like we're going to our mid-period break, which is unusual on the power play.
Well, no, because it's still technically 4-on-4, so it's even strength, really. But anyways, I digress. Mid-period break, here we go.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we welcome you back into the Powassan Sportsplex after that train wreck of a throw to the mid-period break.
Yeah, you try your best.
Sometimes. Sometimes my best just isn't enough.
I thought it was fine.
Well, thank you. You're too kind. Mike Brown, on the other hand, he's just like, you know what? These guys are awful.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Yeah, he's allowed to say it because it's his birthday. Mike Brown, the camera operator. And, of course, I can't say Harrison because he's not here, but Cassie Millen down at ice level getting some stuff for social media. What are you doing on a Friday night that's not in Powassan, Harrison? Come on,
unbelievable.
Buddy.
Picking locks.
Well, there is a sign over there. Lock him up with Jim's Locksmithing.
Well, so far halfway through the opening frame, and definitely 10 minutes I think the Voodoos want to forget.
Coming back the other way, Kirkland Lake walking in. They're going to go for offside, though, so we'll get another stoppage here as that was Boyley.
Yeah, and so far, as I said, like the Voodoos coming off with a bit of a slow start. They've really, again, Kirkland Lake at this point, you just want to be aggressive, try to get pucks on net, and that's really what they've done early on. They've outshot the Voodoos so far, 5-3 in the first half of this period. And the Voodoos really haven't had a lot of possession. You would have thought coming into this that the Voodoos would have the majority of possession, but Kirkland Lake doing a really good job in transition so far and keeping the opportunities to a minimal.
Puck down the ice is off the stick of Misa as we're at 5-on-5 now. Kratz has the puck back in his own zone. Misa comes in for support, and the puck rolls out to Wilcox, who with a minor on the doorstep, that was Hall, Josh Hall.
And I think what's going to be the hardest thing right now for Kirkland Lake is can they apply the same pressure, the same style of play for a full 60 minutes? And we talk about that a lot, the fact that the hockey game is 60 minutes. You can't win one period, you can't win two periods. You've got to have the lead at the end of the third period or overtime. And the one thing is Kirkland Lake is they can't take the foot off the gas at all for the next 49 minutes.
Down the ice into Miners territory again. That's Gray that has the puck currently behind his own net. Although he overskated it as the puck got stuck up on the ice. Goes back behind his net. Boy's right there. Gray comes out, plays the puck up for Boyley. Boyley got a piece of it, so there will be no icing as Coleman gets to it first. Coleman plays it around, gets it over for Whitelaw. Whitelaw flips it down the ice. He was looking for Boys, and the puck rolls in, and it's kept in by Misa to Boys. Boys was looking for Misa. Sharp angle pass out front. It's blocked by Schuker, and going the other way is the Gold Miners. Coleman flipping the puck down the ice. As now we see Brunton come over the boards. They're pretty easy to spot the affiliate players in this game for both teams, as they're all black helmets and they're all wearing white ones.
Oh yeah, I guess I never noticed that. They are, yeah.
As the puck rolls out front, Russo nearly got a chance before he's taken to the ice, but it was negated there by Petrov. Now Russo going the other way. Russo walking in out front for Brunton, takes the shot. And that one's stopped by Schuker. Again, the two best opportunities or shifts that the Voodoos have had in the offensive zone coming with Brunton and Head on the ice.
Well, they're two dynamic players, and there is an opportunity that going into the OHL 18 draft that Brunton might be a first overall player, as he's really shown his value in AAA. You see what it is there. That's just great positioning, though, in between the pipes there for Kirkland's netminder, as no real place for Brunton to shoot, but I think that'll help him settle down the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I think you got to enjoy him while you can here in Powassan. I don't think we'll be seeing Ben Brunton make the transition from the Trappers to the Voodoos next year.
But it's one of those things where, yeah, I don't think either, because I honestly do believe he'll be playing in the Ontario Hockey League, if anywhere, especially now that you can still play in the NCAA now that you, even if you play in the OHL, which you couldn't do before.
Also of note, Broussard on the other side, Martin Broussard that is, his teammate of Head and Brunton. He's playing for Kirkland Lake here this evening. As Head got the puck over for Brunton, gets it up for Russo, and Russo takes a hard hit, and he kind of stumbles. Now it's Rotundo. Rotundo was teammates with Brunton as well, Brunton and Head, on the U16 Trappers team a couple of years ago. Now Rotundo battling for it. It gets to Russo. Russo. His pass for Brunton, just miscommunicated on that one a little bit. And Smith sends it to the near side. Head chasing after it. Puck doesn't come to him though, as now the Gold Miners get the puck through the neutral zone. Abrish walks back in, takes another shot, and it's off the blocker. Smith down the ice. Ditsinge. And beating out the icing is Powassan. McGunthin couldn't quite get his hands on it again though, as Sackett plays it down the ice. Call got a piece of it. Now it's Coleman with it. Coleman Looks down the ice, finds McGunthin, and McGunthin's going to be deemed offside. And a lot of fans here for a split second did not like what they saw on that.
Yeah, and going back to that line that we've seen against the Head Russo Brunton line, the one thing that was really good about them is, again, best offensive pressure so far being created by that line, but they're very youthful, energetic. You can see that they have that extra adrenaline step coming in, but they're making something happen. They've got an energy that I think the Voodoos are still trying to find from the rest of their team, and it will come, but I imagine it'll be a much better second and third period from Powassan.
And they've still outshot the Miners here so far, but they're down 1-0. It's 6-4 in shots. Also of note, not from this game, but hockey related, JT Miller has officially been traded to the New York Rangers.
It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, a former Ranger going back to be a Ranger.
Yeah.
As that saga, as the puck comes out front of Wilcox and is stopped by the goaltender. As that saga was very long running.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see all this, the chippiness so far early on in this game, as not something that you would think coming into this. Not a huge rivalry between these two teams.
No, they've only played twice this year.
Yeah, so it's, you expect this when they play, Hearst or, they play Timmins or Sudbury, but interesting is Kratz looks like he's going off to the bench, so as well as
Nobes again.
Nobes, so again, the referees aren't playing around here. If they see any stuff after the whistle, they're just going to put them in the box, and it's going to be another 4-on-4 opportunity.
More coincidentals again. As now off the draw, the Voodoos have it. Down the ice they go. It's Saginaw who's going to go offside, as on the far side it was Rive who was well offside. He was about 1.5 feet over the blue line.
Yeah, and again, as we see early on in this game, that's the kind of sloppiness where the Voodoos, second time that they've been caught offside in really good opportunities to make something happen. It just happened to McGunthin a little while ago, but it's these lapses of judgment in play that are not doing them any favors.
Tingay takes a hard hit. As now throwing his weight around quite a bit is Reed DeBox. Collison on the far side to Tingay. Tingay behind his net. Looks for options down the ice. He spots Snyder on the near side, but the puck is picked off by DeBox, who just throws it back in. It's kicked by Schuker right back to his man. That's Tingay near side to Collison. Collison down the ice on the far side. Walking in. That's the Miners as Snyder is stripped of the puck by Smith. Smith now for Saginaw. Saginaw walks in, takes the shot. DeBroy still battling with it, along with Mason Brownlee on the far side. Puck comes down the ice by the Miners, and that'll go for icing against Powassan. We talked about how Martin Broussard, teammate with Ben Brunton and Owen Head a couple of years ago. Well, there's a few U18 Trappers Championship players on the Voodoos, and that's Justin Russo, Caden Cowell, Caleb Dawson playing in this one, and a former teammate of theirs, they're facing off against Mason Brownlee, who's got 16 points in 34 games with the Gold Miners. Off the draw, he gets put into the corner.
I think that just says a lot to the program that the Trappers have when you look at the amount of people who've gone on, not just to this league, but also to the Ontario Hockey League, and especially from that last group of players.
Mike McIver, of course, star goaltender with the Battalion. Was the goaltender of that U18 Trappers team that won a championship. Smith off the draw, far side. Trying to feed it out front was Rotundo. He would have had Whitelaw all alone. Now Rotundo keeps the puck in. Got it for Misa. Misa had it off his skates, though, as now Whitelaw on the far side. Whitelaw stops up at the blue line, takes a shot. Schuker makes the save, and that one's going to go into the corner. Puck played around behind the net again. Gold Miners with possession. That's McCollum who has it. Plays it in. Shunborn trying to get a hold of it. Couldn't quite. As that was Boyley on the far side. Now a Miner player is on the ice. And we get some whistles.
Well, there was a hand that got up into the face mask of that player. Looks like that was Dawson Boyley. nothing's going to come of it, but it's going to be interesting as we go into the, with 4 minutes left, when we go into that first intermission, the talk that these coaches will have with their teams. And again, coming from the Powassan side, we know how, head coach Peter Goulet likes to have a well-disciplined team. That'll be love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation.
Matroilin threw the puck back cross ice. It's a body, and now Hall has it. Back to the blue line. Tingay takes a shot. Wilcox blocked that one aside. Now Kratz has the puck in deep. Got it to Coleman. Back for Kratz. Kratz twisting and turning. Got it back for Coleman. Coleman using his body to shield the puck. Couldn't quite get away with it, though. As now Hall picks it up. Hall sends it around behind the end wall. That's going to be picked up by Russo. Russo trying to come out front. Got it up for Boys. Boys also a part of that U18 Trappers team. Heath Bradley as well. There's the puck now on the far side. DuBroy took his man into the boards. That's Hall.
It's probably easier to name the people who weren't on the team.
Yeah, at this point. This puck flipped back down. Tingay played around to the far side. Picked up by the Gold Miners. Through the neutral zone. Chance here now as Abrish tried to get the puck in. And it's picked back up the other way for Call. Call with some speed tried to feather the puck out front for Viscu, but the puck never made it. Now the Gold Miners flip it back in. Wilcox stopping that as the puck rolled in. Bit of a tricky one as Vesatoskala can attest. As now Boys going off to the locker room as well. But anyways, Wilcox did not become Vesatoskala on that one. Or Jonathan Bernier. Take your list of terrible leads fully.
Quick. Or, I was thinking of just bouncing pucks, but
yeah.
And the Powassan did get away with one in that last, just before the play that made the whistle. Abrish almost had a wide open lane to Wilcox, but the pass just out of his reach.
Whitelaw nearly had a chance. As now DeBox takes a sharp angle chance, and that got in on Shuker. McGunthin at the blue line, tried to get around his man Abrish, and now it's played to Rive. Viscu flips it right back in. And it's funny, I was just kind of talking about Vesatoskala and how he's often remembered for that bouncing puck. Jonathan Bernier had a few of those go against him in Toronto, and as another chance goes wide of the net. Down the ice again for Kirkland Lake. And yet Jonathan Bernier is not really remembered for that like Vesatoskala is. But anyways, I'm not trying to defend Toskala. As McGunthin walks in, takes a shot, that's blocked. Smith plays around. DuBroy just rims it around the perimeter. Now Russo picks it up. Back for McGunthin. McGunthin couldn't quite hold on to it. Russo picks it up at the half wall. And it's played back by KL. Smith flips it right back in. Shuker stopped that chance as the puck goes right back around again. Kirkland Lake with possession. Puck goes for Rotundo. Now gets it to Russo. Walking in is Saginaw with a chance, and that one was a bit of a knuckle puck as it hit a stick and just went off to the side. And Shuker had to be good on that one. Kirkland Lake in their own zone. Tingay down the ice looking to get to Nobes. And now DuBroy picks it up. DuBroy walking in, tried to go sharp angle. Now it's back to Coleman at the point. Coleman feathers it towards the net over top. Saginaw picks it up. Saginaw on the far side lost it. Now the puck flipped back in by the Voodoos. Back to Coleman. Coleman towards the net. It goes far side. Kratz will pick it up. Saginaw now in the corner. Back for DuBroy with a chance. And that one's turned aside by Shuker as we got 15 seconds left here in this first period. Coleman, far side again. Kratz takes another shot. That one stopped. Saginaw on the doorstep. And another chance turned away by Shuker, who's now down on the ice. As a whole pile of bodies as there's the Voodoos getting a few good chances here late in this first period.
Well, I have no idea how they weren't able to put that one in. It was such a good opportunity for Whitelaw, and it looked like he had the 5-hole wide open too. And I was expecting that to go in the back of the net, and somehow it just doesn't. I mean, the puck ends up back there after the whistle, but very, very surprised, and I think that's one that Whitelaw would love. That's him and Brunton now have had glorious opportunities to tie this game up, and have just fallen short, and that's kind of how this period's gone for Powassan so far. And if you're Kirkland Lake, you've gotten all the luck and all the good opportunities.
Voodoos looking to tie it up here with 7.5 seconds left. As it's won by Kirkland Lake, and they're just going to pin the puck right up against the wall as no one really went after it. And now that'll kill off the remainder of the time here. It was just kind of funny to see him right up against the boards and no one went after him. So he's pinning it up for no one but himself. Anyway, so the first period will end as a 1-0 score in favor of the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. Shots on goal, 12-7 in favor of the Voodoos. Ben, your final thoughts on that opening frame before we go to break?
Yeah, so when you look at Kirkland Lake early on in that period, obviously they take advantage of a bad giveaway, ended up scoring, getting the opening goal. And then after that, again, aggressive. The Voodoos are really their own worst enemy in that period. But overall, I think Kirkland Lake, again, they've got to be able to come out and play this well. It's getting scrappy, which is kind of the game the Gold Miners want to play. So I think this will be a very interesting mid-period talk, and we'll have to see how the first 5 minutes or so of the second period go and see if we're going to get more of the same or if it's going to change up a bit.
Just before we go to break, Caden Dubroy was talking to Adam Morrell, the referee, and then Vitaly Yachmanev tried to get his attention. He skated over to Vitaly very briefly a moment, and then he immediately skated away, and Vitaly was getting a little bit animated on the bench. So curious as to what that conversation was about. But with that being said, we'll go to our first intermission here, and we'll be back with more Voodoos and Gold Miners hockey on the other side of this intermission.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Brand. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie-resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
I got to ask you guys, though, as the season progresses here and you're starting to kind of come into form, what are you guys looking forward to the most this regular season? Well, whole season, I guess, playoffs included.
Winning.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's it.
Winning, just stop.
Just want to win.
Yeah.
Win, go to Centennial Cup and win some more.
You covered it.
You don't really have to say too much after that. I'll take that. That's a pretty good... I think a lot of people in Powassan would like to see that because it's funny how the Voodoos are always one of the top teams, but they only have one championship in 10 years of this team. I think a lot of people want more.
Yeah.
Especially from the top down on this organization. Do you guys feel like any pressure? I know you talked about expectations being a good thing, but do you guys feel any pressure like that?
Not really, no. We're a team. We win as a team, we lose as a team. As long as we try our best every night, night in and night out, that's all you can ask.
And for your kid?
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like there's any pressure. There's expectations for sure. This is a fantastic organization and everyone wants to win. I don't feel pressure.
Fair enough. Kind of the whole season as a whole with the NOJHL has changed as well. Last year you're pretty much just playing Sudbury, Espanola, French River, it felt like the whole year. Which, Espanola and Sudbury are pretty tough opponents. French River last year, not so much. But then you look at the guys up north, and it's like Hearst and Timmins are getting to beat up on Iroquois Falls and Kirkland Lake the whole season. So it was kind of felt unbalanced a little bit. But now it's all one division,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's all 12 teams. Every game is a massive 2 points. What's that like for you guys now with the season changing so much like that?
I think it's, especially for us, I think it's better because we get to see every other team more. Like Sudbury, unfortunately, still has a good team. So, like if we had to play them 12 times again, it would have sucked. But I think playing every team consistently is good.
And coming into your first like full year, what's it been like? With every game is that much more heightened point wise.
I think it just prepares us for the playoffs more. Like it gets us caught up to the playoff speed, like playing those high-end teams, and it just makes each player just better.
I think it also kind of adds to the parity of the league a little bit. Like you've seen French River step up their game this year. They're a more strong team. It seems the same with Iroquois Falls. Kirkland Lake's been off to a little bit of a slow start, and same with Espanola. But when you guys have such a massive geographical landscape to cover, like last year you were Hearst in the first round, and that's a long bus ride.
Oh yeah.
Which we could talk about a certain bus ride too, but like with that, where it's like, oh, you might be playing the Sioux in the first, like one of the Sioux teams in the first round. I know you don't want to get too far ahead in the playoffs, but isn't that wild that you can just go to Sault Ste. Marie to play a playoff?
Yeah. I still think it's better than Hearst. Somehow it's closer.
It's a little bit of a bigger community. By a little bit. When Jackson Mace were on there after, we didn't really talk about the bus ride because I don't know why it didn't come up, but what was that whole experience like going up to Hearst and not really playing a game this year?
Yeah, at first we were told at first that it was just an accident, right?
Yeah.
And that the highway was going to be closed for a bit, but then 1 hour turns into 2, 2 turns into 5, 5 turns into 7, and we all have to sleep on the bus, and we wake up in the morning and we're hearing like all different stories about what it could be, and we're just like, why haven't we turned around yet?
Yeah, really?
Like I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I was like, are we like in Hearst? I was like, no, we're still here. I'm just sitting there. It was like, what is going on?
Yeah, we didn't start moving till about hour 12. They started letting people pass.
Yeah.
That's wild. So, did you guys still go to Hearst, or did you?
Yeah, we went to Hearst, but we were definitely in no shape to play.
So you played the Timmins game, got on the bus, and then went, and then it was like shut down, or did you wait in Timmins?
We were about 10 minutes outside of Moonbeam, 30 minutes outside of Kapuskasing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, did you go right after the game in Timmins on the Friday night? Yeah, so you all have. So you just played a game, and then you're sitting on the bus for X number of hours. So that's your first real road trip in the NOJHL in the regular season. Well, how was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
You sure? Yeah.
I went on the Sioux road trip last year with them.
Oh, okay.
At the start of the season. That was a great experience, but
you didn't get stuck that time.
No. Much more than one road to get to the Sioux.
Yeah. It's kind of Hearst. You're kind of SOL a little bit, but so you go to Hearst, you stay. Obviously, you don't play the game. But that's got to be such a weird feeling, though, that you're there and you're not playing the game. Like,
yeah, it was really weird. It was just sitting in a hotel, like, what do I do with myself?
I've never been to Hearst, but I've heard there's not really much to do. So nothing against
just one main road.
Yeah, pretty much. But the wild thing is, so like I work at the railway and we send trains into Hearst, obviously, for the lumber stuff. And people keep telling me it's the highest millionaires per capita in Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, because they're all lumber barons, right? Like just,
wow.
Plus Claude Giroux came from there, which, the Lumberjacks won't hit you over the head a million times with that at all, considering their logo is him, apparently, but whatever. So then you guys hop back on the bus the next day and head to Iroquois Falls?
Yeah.
How do you get up for a game after that, like?
It's tough. I was still tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's brutal. I can't imagine going through that, like sitting on a bus that long. Like, I've taken a bus ride to Orlando, and that was like 36 hours on a bus. It was a school trip, too, so it was like, it was a long bus ride. But you were moving the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you only stop for food.
Yeah, you start to lose hope when you're sitting there.
Yeah, I bet. What's going through your mind other than, nobody's telling you, like, you don't know what the story is. What's going through your mind while you're sitting on the bus that entire time?
When am I going to get to a bed?
I just went stir crazy.
Yeah. Is that the worst it's ever been? And then you're stuck in the bus and can't do anything?
The hardest part is you don't want guys to start going at each other.
Yeah.
Guys get together too long and it can can go bad.
What? No. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's a bit of a long road to Powassan from that one, eh?
Yeah.
So then you go to Iroquois Falls, and when you get into the game, I know you guys said it was tough to get up for that one, but like, you know, you kind of deflate a little bit. Is the mood on the bus like, let's just go home and forget about this kind of thing?
No, the mood was we need to win, and that was the mindset going into the game. We were going to do everything to win, play our best, the best to our abilities, and see what happens.
And Reed, what was your thoughts on after now you're on the bus for so long, stay in Hearst, and then head to Iroquois Falls?
I don't know. I was just excited to be in a rink again and moving
anywhere off a bus.
Yeah,
I would have had PTSD getting back on the bus so soon afterwards.
Oh, we did.
I'm sure it's nothing compared to the Trappers guys though that had their bus catch on fire.
No.
Oh yeah.
At least that didn't happen. You were stranded on the side of the road. Yeah. You were just stuck there. Yeah. At least you could stay inside.
Yeah.
Like minus 30 out or something.
The Front Line, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.
Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex for period number 2 between the Powassan Voodoos and the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. Hope you enjoyed that clip from a couple of episodes ago with Caden DuBroy and Reed DeBox on the Frontline podcast. 2 Powassan Voodoos stars. Looking around the NOJHL, it's a busy night. The Blind River Beavers and Sioux Thunderbirds. The Sioux Thunderbirds, after 20 minutes of play, are up 3-0 on Blind River. Greater Sudbury is up 1-0 on Timmins after the first period. Kirkland Lake, of course, is up 1-0 against Powassan. The Sioux Eagles are up 2-0 on the French River Rapids after that first period. And midway through the first, it's 0-0 between the Iroquois Falls Storm and Espanola Paper Kings. The goal scorer here in this one was, bear with me here, Jordan Fittger with his 30th or 13th of the season.
30th, wow.
Yeah, we're jumping up there. Penalties going to Trent Nobes, Bruce Gray, Jack Nolan, Trent Nobes, and Marcus Kratz. Shots on goal also 12-7 in favor of the Voodoos after 20 minutes of play. Ben, not the period that the Voodoos wanted, but
no, and they got to watch out Signoretti if Fittger's coming for
30 goals, yeah.
30 goals. No, again, what's really going to depend, I think, how this period goes is going to be the talk that happened in between the periods and how this first 5 minutes goes. Again, we know that this Powassan team generally is pretty well disciplined. We saw a lot of not disciplined play in that opening frame. We also saw a lot of lackadaisy play, a lot of misplays. So the big question is Powassan going to play the hockey we know they can play? And again, you know, over the weekend against Blind River and the Sioux, they played some really good hockey, and I still think that Blind River game was probably the best game that they've played this season in terms of total team play and total game play. But it'll be interesting. Kirkland Lake, though, they've got to keep their foot on the gas here, continue playing the exact same way, try to get underneath the skin of the Voodoos as much as they can, force them into penalties, force them into bad situations, and try and get another one by Wilcox here early on.
Of note, head coach of the U18 Trappers, Josh Dale, in attendance, former assistant coach of the Voodoos. Of course, checking out Owen Head and Ben Brunton here.
Also, Dr. Rob Graham, who's their goalie coach, as well as a color commentator on the front line when we do Trapper games.
Well, I guess if we're talking about Amazon bestseller, Dr. Rob Graham.
You know it.
We also have to talk about Ben Long is in attendance as well.
Getting those beaver tails, only reason he came?
Yeah, he doesn't like the Voodoos at all, he said. Puck rolling in towards the net. As now the Voodoos back on the attack. Saginaw tried to get it over to Dubroy, and the puck goes up and into the bench and out of play of Kirkland Lake. So we'll get a stoppage here, 19:21, so only 39 seconds played.
Yeah, and again, as we talked about in that first period, that line, speaking of the Trappers, that Brunton, Head, and Russo line, very impressive so far. And again, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they get 3 or 4 points here this evening. I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do a lot because of just how hard it is to get used to it. I do love the fact Russo's playing with them, however, as he really adds a big veteran presence in there, and his playmaking ability and vision is really good. But I will say, probably the most dynamic and best-looking line out there in the first 20 minutes, so we'll have to see if that continues here.
Also neat for them to play with Justin Russo, who's a former captain of that championship-winning team. We'll know a thing or two about trying to get a ring that they're trying to do this year. Kratz throws the puck cross ice, as in this period the Voodoos in their home whites are going left to right, and the gold miners in their road gold jerseys are going right to left. Walking down the ice, Viscu tried to get the puck in deep, and now it's back out past the blue line. Kratz flips it in. Viscu's going to chase after it.
And interestingly here, we see Russo on this top line now. Maybe a bit of a change here from Peter Goulet.
Shunborn tried to flip it down. That's going to be kept in by Powassan. That is the aforementioned Russo, but now Shunborn steals it from him. Former teammates. As now the puck comes loose. McGunthin through the neutral zone. Looking for Kratz. Puck didn't quite make it all the way. Now another chance. And that one's stopped by Schuker.
Well, you talk about that pit in the feeling stomach, and you see right there, Schuker had that feeling. He looks behind him, wondering where that puck went. Thankfully, it was right into his body. And we'll have to keep an eye, as you see out there now with the young line.
It's Dubroy.
Looks like it's Caden Dubroy. So a bit of a line shuffle here to try to get things going for the Voodoos.
Puck comes out. Brunton's going to get to it first. Stops up for Head. Puck now loose in the neutral zone, and it's flipped into Voodoos territory. DeBox plays it behind his net. DeBox up for his man. That's Rive. Rive gets it all the way in now for Head. Head turns around, takes his check, gets it back for Rive at the point. Rive throws it towards the net. Dubroy nearly got the tip in the net, but it just went wide. Now Head on the far side. Goes around behind the net. Rive still battling for it. It's kicked in, but now Petrov gets to it. And the puck back down the ice. Rive flipping it right back in. As now the gold miners back the other way. The box picks it up in his own zone though, plays it far side. And it's flipped down the ice by Powassan and into the gold miners territory. His call got a piece of it with his stick, but it just rolled in, and Schuker's going to cover it up.
Yeah, more good opportunities here for the Voodoos, but again, we haven't seen that possession from them. We haven't seen them command the game or the puck. Again, Kirkland Lake doing a great job of keeping this game right now in a transition style and really making this a back and forth affair, and you can tell which team is more comfortable with that style so far tonight.
Gold miners flip the puck down the ice. That'll go for icing here, so the Voodoos will get another offensive zone draw, as Rotundo was the first one down on it.
I think overall, when I remember when I called games back in November, over the last 2 months or so, the Voodoos have really shot up the standings as well, as they were right near that playoff drought, but now they found themselves a pretty nice, healthy lead.
The Voodoos have certainly come on as of late too. As you mentioned, as a chance is just tipped wide, beating, as that's going to go for, a malfunction of Shuker's equipment. But the Voodoos having big games against the Blind River Beavers and Sioux Eagles last weekend, both becoming victories for the Voodoos. So a perfect 4 for 4 in points when it came to the standings last weekend.
And I was very impressed with that Sioux game as well when you consider how hard fought that game against Blind River was. Then they come in back the next night and really command, 2 empty net goals, but still come away with a pretty healthy win against Sioux.
Another chance out front, couldn't quite connect on that one. Rotundo plays the puck in deep for Call. Call flips it around, trying to get the cycle going, but now it's picked off by the gold miners and out. Now Abrish with it. Back down the ice, trying to get to it. And now it's picked up and back for Call. Call tried to feed it out front, couldn't find his man though. As now the puck comes back to the blue line, but kept in by Powassan. Cullison with it. Cullison got it for his man Gray. Puck is loose for the Voodoos, going in, they score! Caden Dubroy ties it up and the Voodoos are in flight. His 19th of the season for number 11.
Well, again, that just kind of shows exactly what the Voodoos were missing, and finally, probably the first real shot that we've seen them take on Shuker here this evening, as it's a great snipe there by Dubroy, and finally the Voodoos are, as you said, in flight here, and now all of a sudden it's a 1-1 game, and maybe that'll kind of wake them up a little bit.
Stick blows up on the draw. Now Kratz walks in, and that shot is turned aside by Shuker. As the Voodoos looking to get some momentum going here off that Dubroy goal. Puck comes out of their zone, flipped back in by the gold miners, and now with possession behind the net is Powassan. That's Coleman. Coleman with the puck, flips it down, looking for Saginaw, but that's going to go for icing, as it actually rolled in on the goalie, but still an icing is called.
Yeah, and now again you see all it takes is that one goal, and you see now the energy coming back in this Powassan side. Not what Kirkland Lake wanted was to give up that momentum, and now they're going to have to try to stay off their heels and try to put some pressure here on Powassan with this offensive zone draw if they want to kind of get back into this. And this is where the Voodoos can really take this game in hand and take control of it.
Played back in deep by the goal miners, is kicked towards Wilcox's net and then cleared aside as the puck just rolled towards the netminder, but it never actually made it. Now Wilcox plays the puck, leaves it behind his net, and it's up for Whitelaw. Whitelaw at his blue line to the middle of the ice. Russo got it quickly over for Coleman. Now it's going to come near side to Whitelaw. Whitelaw plays it far side. Viscu wasn't there, but he's going to get to it first. Throws it towards the net. That'll just miss. Now Kratz picks it up at the blue line. Kratz throws it towards the net, turned aside by Shuker. And now the puck back to the far side, McGunthin. McGunthin twisting and turning, tried to will it towards the net, getting it to Russo. And the puck rolled away from him. Now Petrov the other way. Flips it in, chasing after it. Kratz gets it. And he plays it to Coleman. Coleman looking for some options, plays it off the glass, and now McGunthin, he was way ahead of it and didn't really have an option. Now Russo was going after it, but Cullison gets it behind his net as the gold miners set up. Hall missed that, so that'll go for icing against the gold miners here, and the linesman was right on that, pointing at him as soon as the puck went by him.
Yeah, interesting for both teams dealing with some injuries, as you said, a couple of AP players playing on both sides. Of course, the Voodoos missing a lot of people over that last weekend. Caden Cowell still out with an injury. We mentioned both Dawson and Heath Bradley both suspended from that weekend clash.
Puck thrown towards the net, but it's blocked by the gold miners. Now read the box. And Cullison plays it.
And we'll have to get news on Jack Nolan, and he might be another one who's...
Cullison really hurt now. He's stuck. He's trying to get the referee's attention as the puck comes loose. Now another chance kicked aside by Shuker. He's still really looking lost out there.
Well, he's holding his hand right now.
As the puck flipped towards the net again, Cullison plays it with one hand as he's still laboring to get off. Now he runs back towards the bench, but the Voodoos send the puck right back in. Dubroy, the goal scorer, out there with Head and Brunton. As Dubroy tried to play it off to Brunton, or Head rather. And now Boyley the other way. We'll have to keep an eye on Cullison too. Wilcox making another stop with his glove hand.
Well, Cullison, as you said, he was holding onto his hand. It looked like he was potentially maybe bleeding a bit as he was really trying to get the attention of the trainer. Either that or maybe he tweaked one of his fingers. But, yeah, he was trying to get the attention, as you said, of the referee. The referee not interested in what he had to say, and then finally gets himself out of the zone and
went back to the locker room.
And, as you said, went back to the locker room, yeah.
Kept in by the Gold Miners briefly, as now Rotundo off to the races. Rotundo stops up at the blue line, throws it towards the net, and Schuker's going to make the save on that one. The 18th shot fired on net by the Voodoos. 7 minutes to the dot in the second period.
And it is kind of interesting right now when you look at how both these teams are playing. We're not seeing a whole lot of trying to dump, chase, and control the puck in the zone. It's a lot of, just trying to get shots on the transition. And something I thought would happen in this second period, was we would see more of a possession-style game. But again, it's continuing. Both teams, as that puck goes out of play on the clearing attempt. But again, both teams not really that interested, it looks like, to play a possession-based game.
We'll redo the draw now to the blocker side of Schuker, or far side from the broadcast. Abresh wins it. Now it's picked up by the Gold Miners. That's Gray. Got it down. He was looking for Brownlee, just missed him. Now Ficker, the goal scorer for the Gold Miners, battling with Smith. Rotundo tried to come away with it. Puck loose. Comes out. And down the ice they go. No, Ficker keeps it in. Now Boys flips it down the ice. Call in a foot race with Gray. Call stops up, tried to flip it out front for Misa, and it just kind of fanned on that attempt. Now the puck on the near side. Up for Brownlee. Picked off by Kratz. However, that will go for offside as it just came out.
Well, we were mentioning Marcus Kratz, of course, one of the 3 stars for the last week. And again, he's looked absolutely fantastic. Him alongside Henry Ouellette of the Lumberjacks and James Meredith of the Espanola Paper Kings. And not too often do you see a defenseman for the, outside of Alex Little, not too many Powassan defensemen have shown their offensive prowess too much, but Kratz is a guy who maybe have unlocked a little something.
James Meredith, also the property of the North Bay Battalion. Whitelaw walks in, takes a shot. That one's turned aside by Schuker as he got a stick on it and sent it wide. Now Tingay plays around to Sakic, up for Schunborn. Schunborn in. Kratz got to it first, and the Voodoos clear it out. Whitelaw, far side to Saginaw. Saginaw walks in, takes a shot. Schuker with the save, and now the puck nearly rolled back in as Dubroy had it off his stick briefly. Now Coleman has the puck, tried to play it around the far side. Picked up, couldn't get it out though as Gray kept it in. Gray walks in, takes a shot. Wilcox makes the save, and it's out of play. James Meredith also notoriety right now as he's the goalie of record, and arguably the reason why the Espanola Paper Kings came away with that big victory that ended the winning streak for the Greater Sudbury Cubs.
Yeah, talk about a team that's putting themselves above the rest, right? Obviously a lot of former OHL players who are playing with them right now, but they do look like they're going to be the team to beat and could potentially two-peat as well.
Puck down into Voodoos territory again, out of the reach of Wilcox. Of note, the Cubs and the Lumberjacks, with basically 2 months still left in the season, have already clinched playoff spots. As now the puck rolls back into the Voodoos. Wilcox blocks it aside. Petrov, it's down the ice. Gray chasing after it with McGunthin hot on his tails. It's played to Viscu. Viscu tried to feather it across to Russo. And now it does get to Russo, but not in an area for him to take a shot as it's behind the net. Puck loose. Played down the ice by Leaners. And that's going to go for icing against the Gold Miners.
Well, you ask how Kirkland Lake's season's going so far, and again, we've talked about they're at the bottom of the league right now, alongside, of course, Elliott Lake, who's no longer playing this season because of their unfortunate situation with their arena. But just to put some more perspective on those numbers, and where this has really been an anomaly for the Voodoos, they've scored the least amount of goals, tied with Elliott Lake, of course, fewer games played. They've given up 223 goals, which is by far the most in the league. They have a negative 138 goal differential, but you wouldn't be able to tell that tonight. Kirkland Lake is holding their own so far, and I think that says a lot about how they've played, but I think it also says a little bit more of how the Voodoos have played as well.
Also, of course, of note, the Voodoos are severely short-staffed now, especially without Jack Nolan. As you can see him down in the corner talking with Adam McKillop over the Powassan Auto Series sign. As DuBroy wins the draw, gets it to his man. That was Brunton, who tried to get a shot away, but it was blocked by the Gold Miners. Now Abrish tried to get the bouncing puck, but Smith picks it up. Now Head, or rather Brunton tried to get it out, and it's flipped right back down to Voodoos territory. Smith had the puck bounce away from him. Wilcox had to be strong on that one, and now DuBroy back down the other way with Head. DuBroy takes a shot. Schuker with the save of the glove. And that'll bring us to our mid-period break here. So we'll be back with more Voodoos and Gold Miners on the other side of this.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back to the Powassan Sportsplex here. It's a 1-1 game after Caden DuBroy scored earlier in the second period. Shots on goal 20-11 in favor of the Voodoos as well. I'm Courtney Kenny. He's Ben Sargent. And it's been an entertaining game to say the least.
It absolutely has. And again, the Voodoos getting away with a bad giveaway in their own defensive zone that almost leads to the second Gold Miners goal. And then on the other side, and this is kind of where the learning curve happens, really interesting as we saw DuBroy and Head going into the offensive zone. I think one of those things where you look at Head, he was very close to DuBroy. We would have liked him maybe to go a little bit more into the slot area. It ended up being a shot that went wide. But either way, those are kind of the small learning things. They're not going to be perfect after one game, but we'll have to see how long these guys will stay with the Voodoos, of course, with how they are a little low staffed right now.
Boys, well, this is Dawson's second game of 3 games sitting out. Same with Bradley. And there's a delayed penalty coming up against Powassan here.
And unfortunately, both of those coming in the same game.
Now the Gold Miners flip the puck down the ice. And Coleman got to it, so that'll draw the whistle. And now we'll get our penalty for tripping against Riley Misa.
Yeah, and despite this, one thing we haven't seen in the second period is the chippiness we saw a lot in that first period, especially near the end. And this is going to be a good opportunity for the Gold Miners. I believe this is their first power play opportunity. We've seen teams go to the box, but it's been 4-on-4 situations. And now we're going to get a good opportunity to see the Gold Miners power play and see if they can try and get something going so that they can retake the lead. Again, when you look at their point total getter, Trevor Nobes is the guy to look for, number 14, 16 goals, and he'll be playing on the point off the faceoff.
Nobes at the line, throws it in, goes around the end wall. Far side, now Tingay keeps it in. Back for Shunborn. Shunborn plays it into the corner. And it's back to Abrish. Now Tingay. Still setting up on the far side. Tingay takes a shot that's blocked by Powassan. Now Abrish cross ice. Good chance there, but it just missed the net. As that was a chance by Sakic. And now the Voodoos get the puck. Try to get it out, but it's kept in by the Gold Miners. Puck off a stick. Back to Tingay. Tingay looking for some chances on the far side. Wilcox's bottle is also on the ice right now. Tingay back at the point. Abrish takes a chance, throws the puck towards the net. It's not picked up though, and now it's behind the net. Now Nobes takes a shot, fires that one wide, and the Voodoos mercifully are going to be able to get a change in here as Tingay is going to play it all the way behind his net as Nob's shot missed and went out. The Voodoos had all sorts of trouble trying to clear it out of their zone. Back down the ice, Fichtner with it. Back to the point, Gray plays it to Nobes with a shot. That's a good block by Powassan. Another chance and another save by Wilcox with the glove. 39 seconds left on the man advantage for Kirkland Lake.
Well, it's funny when we literally just talked about earlier in this period how they have the lowest goals tied for the lowest goals for this season, and yet that was a very well done power play as they were able to move the puck very effectively, get a lot of good opportunities. Very impressive power play.
Puck out front, picked off by Powassan, but they can't clear the zone until the puck does find McGunthin and down the ice.
Roy a little lucky there. He didn't get called for hooking as his stick got caught into the body of Lamar's there.
Now Gray with it. Down the ice, Gray goes, takes the far out shot. It's turned aside by Wilcox. As now the puck back to the blue line, kicked back in by the goal miners, and that will go for hand passes. Gray literally punched it out of the air towards his teammate.
Well, so far when you look at this game, as we're into the second half now with, I guess, 27 and a half minutes left in regulation, as it's been an interesting one so far. Again, you come into this game expecting Powassan to kind of steamroll over the gold miners, especially coming off two very impressive games about 7 days ago. And Kirkland Lake holding their own, but we'll have to see if that continues for the rest of this period.
Back to 5-on-5 now as Powassan successfully killed the penalty. Nisa out on the ice. Shunborn flips the puck back down. Wilcox out to play it. It's picked up by DeBox and sent right back down the ice, but that will go down for icing, so we'll get another stoppage here and an offensive zone draw for Kirkland Lake, just shy of 13 minutes played.
Yeah, again, and one thing, as we talked about, shuffling a little bit of the lines around, we saw Dubroy actually out there, not with the young guys, as they haven't gotten too much, Brenton and Head not getting too much ice time here in the second period so far, but you can really tell that they're trying to get something offensively figured out.
Nobes with a shot. Wilcox, a big save there, and Wilcox has done his job, making 13 out of 14 saves. And really on the one goal, you can't really fault Wilcox at all.
Well, I mean, and if Kirkland Lake did score right before the mid-period break, it would have been the same idea. Like both goals, nothing that Wilcox could have done. But that being said, he's done a good job positioning where he needs to be. And him and Seibel have, again, we talk about him, they've been cornerstones in the net, both boasting a 304 goals against average, with Wilcox a slightly higher 924 save percentage to Seibel's 918.
Shunborn took a shot. That one was blocked by Saginaw, and now the puck comes out. Shunborn with it again. Looking against his former jersey there, number 19. That was Saginaw. Now Rive walks in, takes a shot, and that one's going to hit every bar over there. That's the stanchion for the door, and then the crosser, and out back onto the ice, so out of play.
And I don't know if on your bingo card this season for Powassan you'd have goaltending as being a strength, as again the last few years they've been blessed with having veteran guys in between the benches, and this year Peters had to go with two young guys, and they don't have the experience and they've had to learn and trial by fire, but now you've got a good problem to have, which is two guys that are sharing time, and you have to choose which one's the right one each night.
1A, 1B situation between Wilcox and Seibel for sure. It's Rotundo. Far side now, Rive has it. Rive stops up, tries to take a shot. That's blocked. Russo has it. Plays it. Tries to pick it back up. And now Viscu gets to it. Viscu walks in, takes a shot. That's blocked before it ever got to Schuker. And now the puck back down into Voodoo's territory as Rotundo chases it down. Rotundo over for Russo. Puck hopped away from him. Rive gets it to him though. And now Russo walks in. Russo, sharp angle, looking to go out for the slot. Rive looking for the tap. And the puck just hopped off his stick. Now it's back to the blue line. Russo was in his shooting lane, but the puck just went behind him. And now Kratz has it. Kratz up the ice looking to spring head. And now he finds it, but the puck hopped away from him. Head back for Kratz. Kratz tried to walk around his man. And now it's a break the other way for the Gold Miners. Walking in, good defensive play there by Dubreuil and Head as they're able to knock the puck away and save a goal-scoring chance for the Gold Miners.
Well, what an opportunity there for Kirkland Lake to get back in the lead as we head into the final 5 minutes of this second period. And as you said, that's great defensive play. We've seen that a couple of times actually this evening. We've seen a great poke check in the defensive zone. And that's probably the best opportunity they're going to have. That was one of the AP players.
I believe it's Broussard.
I believe so, since they don't have their names in the back. They also don't have the numbers on our sheet.
No, they don't, but the way that Brunton was talking to him after that play, I think that's who it is.
Either way, almost had a great opportunity, and if it is Broussard, that's great bragging rights.
Battling for it. Behind the net now. Trying to come away with it. Powassan still digging away. Misa has it, but Hill gets it back to the blue line. Throws it towards the net. Knocked aside. I don't think it hit Shuker. As the puck is to the far or to the near side half wall. Kept in by Boys. Flips it towards the net. And now it comes out. Petrov with the puck. Looking for a chance. Took a shot. And that's stopped by Wilcox.
Well, we talk about points always being important, and this as the time starts to wind down and we see a tie game and it doesn't feel like this game is going to break anytime soon. You thought it would. After Dubreuil scored, there was a lot of momentum for Powassan. You thought that potentially it would go that way, but it's kind of settled back into where it was before. When you look at who the Voodoos have coming up, they've got the Sioux Eagles. They've got back-to-back Sioux teams, Blind River and Espanola, coming up in the early parts of February. It's not going to be an easy stretch for them.
This is also our last home game until the end of February.
It is, and that's another thing too, right? They play the Sioux, they go to Blind River, go to Espanola, and then finally come back on the 21st to play Hearst. They also go to Hearst in that time too.
Yeah, they play. It's a 3-3 for Hearst and 2 against the Sioux Thunderbirds here at the Sportsplex.
Yeah.
As we're going to get an offside call here, some rough stuff after the whistle. So there's your chippiness coming back into effect, Ben.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right, how this game has turned from, early on in the period we kind of saw most of the same Dubreuil scores. We started seeing the ice tilt, and now we're kind of devolving back into where things were at the end of the first period. Not a place that Powassan wants to be, but again, if you're Kirkland Lake and you can push this thing into extra time, you can find yourself a point. That's kind of what you're trying to play for now, or get a scrappy win. If you're Powassan, you just kind of want to get a goal as soon as possible, take the lead, and then try to extend it. And you don't even want to think of overtime, especially when you look at where these teams are in terms of how they perform this year. Even though they are short some players.
McGunthin knocks his man down, as that's going to bring a penalty against Anusha McGunthin on a big hit here at the neutral zone.
They're saying it's head contact, which is not a good one to say. As you said, it looked from where we saw McGunthin right on the away side, gets it up just too high according to the referee, and that's going to be a couple of guys going into the box. It looks like Owen Head also headed, that's Brenton going into the box as well to help serve that minor.
Be a 2 and a 10 probably.
That's
44.
And that's a little unfortunate for McGunthin, who felt like he went in there potentially probably pretty clean, but in this league, anything that's close to the head is immediately going to be called.
Back to the power play as Kirkland Lake. Shunborn walks in, takes a shot. Wilcox makes the save on that. Another chance, another save for Wilcox. And the puck comes down the ice. Shuker out to play it. Tingay to collect it from his netminder.
Well, it was such a good, effective first power play for Kirkland Lake earlier on in this period. Great passing, and now all of a sudden the shots, 20-17, they're getting closer. Only 3 shots now behind the Voodoos as they're really going for the second goal to end the second period.
Sackett walked in, lost the puck though, and Abrish has to circle back as he found the loose puck. Now play it around on the near side wall. Misa in there digging away at it, but the puck is buried, so we're going to get a stoppage here with 1:07 left on the man advantage.
Yeah, again, going back to that McGumpton penalty, that's got to feel bad for him as he's going to be sitting there, as you said. Again, Brunton's going to be serving the penalty. And for a team that's already depleted, to lose one of the guys who's on quite a bit of a hot streak. I know he went into that Sioux game on a 5-game point streak, and he's looked very solid as first, of course, a fresh Voodoo from the trade deadline.
Off the draw, Powassan sends it down the ice. Russo with some great speed to chase after it. And the puck comes loose again. Flipped right back down by the box. Fichtner with the puck. 50 seconds left on the man advantage. 2:30 left here in this second period. All knotted up at 1. Fichtner throws the puck in. Smith has to chase after it. Tried to golf swing at it. He does. And like my type of putt, or my type of chipping, it's up and over the glass. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
I have no idea what you're talking about either.
Let's do that hockey.
Let's do that. Don't they say it's hockey and golf are synonymous with each other?
They are, but
not for you, not for commentators.
No, I am terrible at both. 30 seconds left on the man advantage. Out from his own zone goes. That's going to be a penalty, I would say so. As Boyle went right by Russo and just out of nowhere whacked his stick right out of his hands, and the referee, Darren Long, immediately put his hand up, so Boyley's now in the box, and the final 23 seconds of this man advantage have been wiped away.
Yeah, interference, so slashing, interference, pick your poison on that one, as not a good penalty to take when it's really unnecessary, and you're already on the power play. You've shown that you've done great possession. Now we're back to 4-on-4, and we talked about Kirkland Lake wants to get under the skin of the Voodoos, but you also don't want to do something that's just going to hurt your own team, and that's really what that last play did.
Brownlee on the far side trying to get around Rive as the two number 9s battle. And the puck comes loose to Brownlee. Brownlee walks in, had Misa all over him. His shot just goes wide and took a weird bounce off the glass and hits off the meshing. So out of play here. Still 6 seconds left on the 4-on-4.
Well, you're always going to see some weird bounces and some interesting plays here in the Sportsplex. Of course, a very low ceiling as well as pretty low glass here as well. But we're still hoping we can get some heaters up here.
There are heaters, just not where we stand.
Literally, where the heaters are, there's a space, and where that space is where we are.
Yeah, we got to deal with that and the stanchion here that doesn't show us the away penalty time. As the gold miners off the draw, win it back into their own zone. Tingay with it. And now the Voodoos will have a power play. Wilcox leaves it for Kratz as the Voodoos are going to get set up here with their man advantage. Kratz from behind his net. Skates up. Stops up. Looks for some options. His pass. He had a body, and I don't think the gold miners realized that they could have had a 3-on-1. But they took their time dumping the puck down instead. Probably the wiser play. Kratz. Cross ice. Dubroy gets to it. Snakes around his man. Plays it around behind the net. Picking it up. That's Viscu. Viscu trying to play it, but it's back to Saginaw now. Back to the middle of the ice for Kratz. Kratz stops up. Kratz walks in. Backhand chance. And it's put in the back of the net by the Voodoos. Power play goal for Powassan. Ryan Saginaw with his first in the NOJHL and first as a Voodoo.
Well, that's a big goal there for Ryan Saginaw, as you mentioned, and who else but Marcus Kratz, who really creates that opportunity early on. He takes it from the point, and he decides to pinch in and makes a nice play, gets the puck in front, and then Saginaw's right on the doorstep as there's a scramble in front. Nobody around except Ryan Saginaw puts it in, and a big, that's what we call a lunch pail goal, as he gets into those dirty areas and gets a well-deserved first goal and a big second goal for the Voodoos that gives them the lead going into the third period.
And could you tell he was excited?
No.
Is the way he shot out of a cannon when he put the puck in the back of that net. And the way he went by the bench, it's been a long time coming here for Ryan Saginaw.
Again, we talked to Saginaw, a guy who's not shy when it comes to goal scoring and what he's done in his hockey career. So it'll be good to get him kind of going here in the NOJHL, especially when you consider some of their bigger goal scorers are not, guys like Caden Cowell, not in the lineup currently.
I guess you could say after his reaction, Saginaw showed great spirit.
I'm surprised you actually don't have some sort of southern call for that. With some sort of...
Southern call?
Yeah, because they're from Saginaw's in the south.
Oh, thanks. I don't know my geography.
We need to re-break out geography.
Yeah, you're the geography freak.
Yeah. So you see there's north and south.
Oh, thank you.
Saginaw is from the south.
10 seconds. Well, it's the northern states. Michigan.
Now we're getting into some technicalities.
Reminds me of we're going to come to the end of the period here with the Voodoos up 2-1. It reminds me of an old video where they talk about how sharks are found in only two places in the world, the northern and southern hemispheres. Anyways, try to be professional here. Ben, we're at the end of the second period. The Voodoos have a 2-1 lead after a late goal by Ryan Saginaw, and for trying to be as serious as we can be. What are your final thoughts on that frame?
I don't know if the coaching staff of the Voodoos are going to be too happy when you look at, they did some good stuff in there. They have the lead, but still not playing the way that I think they want their team to play. If you're Kirkland Lake, the big question is, they've had some opportunities. They've tried to take the opportunities they've been given from mistakes. They're going to have to really bear down and try to get a goal here. It's going to be a big hill to climb for them, but for the Voodoos, really, they're their own worst enemy. So they continue to play good, disciplined hockey. I think they'll come away with a well-deserved win.
All right, we'll have to see how things fold out here for the final 20 minutes. On the other side of this intermission, he's Ben, I'm Courtney. We'll be back with more after this.
Canadian Tire North Bay. Whether you're in need of a hockey gear upgrade or some cooking kitchenware to help get you fueled up for the big game. Maybe it's a set of new snow tires or a tune-up to help you get there safely. Stop by the newly renovated Canadian Tire North Bay. Open 7 days a week and located conveniently at 890 McEwen Avenue. They have everything you need for this season.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest higher price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie-resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex for the start of period number 3 between the Powassan Voodoos and the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. I'm Courtney Kenny, pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent here at the Sportsplex. And Ben, it's been an eventful 40 minutes of play, and we'll get your thoughts just momentarily here as we're going to take a quick look around the NRJHL. After 40 minutes of play, the Sioux Thunderbirds have a 3-1 lead over the Blind River Beavers. Greater Sudbury, after 40 minutes of play, well, they eked out a victory over Iroquois Falls last night. They're currently eking out the lead right now over the Timmins Rock, 3-2 after 40 minutes of play. Sioux Eagles at the start of the third period lead 4-2 over the French River Rapids, and Espanola has a 3-2 lead midway through the second period of that game. Ben, your thoughts here as we get set for an eventful, hopefully, not for Powassan if their sake. They're not looking for an eventful period, but a entertaining game so far. So your thoughts so far coming into this third period?
Yeah, again, I feel like Powassan hasn't played up to their potential in this game. Like, you kind of expect them to be 5 or 6-1 up at this point when you look at these teams on paper. But to give credit where it's due to the Gold Miners, they've done a good job of keeping the puck out of their net and trying to take advantage of some of the mistakes the Voodoos have. And the Voodoos got lucky. They got a big goal near the end of the second period to make it 2-1 on a really nice dirty lunch pail goal from Ryan Saginaw after a nice play by Kratz in the power play. So going into this period, they've just got to make sure, number one, they don't give up the lead, so play very solid defensively, and try to give yourself a little bit of breathing space probably in the first 3 or 4 minutes of this period so that you're not hanging onto the edge of your seat. And there's not any issues with potential tying goal from Kirkland Lake.
Of note, so the Voodoos are 1 for 2. Kirkland Lake's 0 for 2 on the power play shots on goal, and that second were 10-9 in favor of Kirkland Lake. However, the shots altogether is 21-17 in favor of the Voodoos, and it's 2-1 Powassan at the start here. The Gold Miners in the road golds are going left to right, and the Voodoos in their home whites are going right to left in this period. As the puck comes out of Voodoos territory, Intingay knocks it right back in. That's going to go for a penalty, though, against the Voodoos here early. So only 36 seconds in, Powassan is down a man.
Well, I guess they didn't listen to what I just said about it.
No, they're like Ben Sargent.
1 minute ago.
Who does he expert.
I guess.
It's Rotundo going to the box.
Yeah, it's not a good penalty to give away early on. And again, we've seen a good power play from Kirkland Lake. Of course, the last one cut short after a really weird penalty from Boyle, who really made the last 20 seconds null and void after a very careless neutral zone interference call. But again, the way they've been passing the puck, the way they've been moving the puck has been really good on the power play. This might be one of their best chances in this third period to tie it up.
Now a good block there by Viscu, and he's off to the races. Viscu walks in, takes a shot, and Schuker makes the save. He's not sure where the puck is. I think it got underneath his toe and just kind of stuck there as he tried to kick the puck away. Viscu fanning on the shot, but having a gorgeous opportunity here shorthanded.
And I think Lenar's got a piece of that as well. He did a good job of back checking there and making sure that he got something on there. Actually, Sugar almost got lucky because the puck was stuck underneath his pad. If he moved the wrong way and that puck slipped behind him, it might have accidentally slipped in the net.
Voodoos killing off all sorts of time here on the man advantage because the puck is in the Kirkland Lake corner. As Russo had killed off a lot of time before the puck finally comes loose and is still in Kirkland Lake territory 35 seconds into this man advantage. Now the puck to the near side, it's Fittger. Fittger throws it towards the net, kicked aside by Wilcox. And the puck is loose to Viscu, but he couldn't quite get the pass over for Russo, and the puck stays in. Now Coleman gets to it, plays it around. It hops over the stick of the goal miners. Now it's Fittger, and the puck's all the way down for Schuker to play. Schuker out of his net, a minute gone on the man advantage now. And as behind his net, that's Gray. Gray with the puck down the ice. Hits Snyder, and Smith gets to it and sends it right back down the ice into goal miners territory.
Really good penalty kill so far from the Voodoos, not allowing Kirkland Lake to set up in the offensive zone, which has been their bread and butter in their first 2 power plays.
Puck to the near side now. Sakic knocked off the puck by Misa. Smith gets to it. Sakic plays it, but it's out of his zone. 25 seconds left on the man advantage here. Tingay plays the puck behind his net. Schunborn has the puck. Down the ice. And it's banked off the end wall. That'll go for icing here against the goal miners with the man advantage. With 13 seconds left, they're going to need something quick here if they're able to get something on this power play.
Yeah, probably not going to happen with the defensive zone draw coming up here. But again, very effective penalty kill here from the Voodoos. The best penalty kill we've seen from them so far. Good news as, again, I'm sure the messaging from the coaching staff for Powassan is to try to play to the potential they have. Yes, they're missing players, and yes, there's issues, but there's enough good quality in this team that it shouldn't matter.
And we're back to 5-on-5. Brunton comes on the ice after Rotundo got off. And now the puck on the near side. It's going to come loose. Brunton picks it up. Brunton through the neutral zone. Got it to Russo, but now the puck bounces away and back out to center ice.
Yeah, Brunton's going to learn that he can't quite dance the same way that he does when he plays for the Trappers.
No, AAA hockey and Junior A hockey might be a little bit different. No matter how good at hockey you are, there's always a bit of a adjustment period. Nobes walking in. Leaves the puck behind. And now Brunton gets to it.
And I think Saginaw is a really good example of that, where there is that adjustment period where he's finally settling in with his first NOJHL goal.
Misa up the ice to Boys. Boys flipping the puck down the ice. Will that have the... It won't go for icing. I was wondering if it had the legs, but they waved it off. Now to the near side. Call. Tried to flip it back in. Petrov gets to it. Sends it right back in. Wilcox plays the puck. Sends it around. Boys has it in his own zone. Now he gets it out. Boys looking for Call. That pass is picked off. And now going the other way is Leaners. Back to the blue line. No one was there as they went off for a change. That's the puck now on the far side. Flip back in. Rotundo battling for the puck. Leaners comes away with it, but now it's down in the corner on the far side. 4.5 minutes gone here in this third period. 2-1 Powassan leads. Rotundo has the puck. Rotundo up for Boys. Back for Rotundo. Rotundo. Far side looking for Call. Call throws a reverse hit there. And the puck through the neutral zone again. High stick against the Voodoos though, but the goal miners play it. And now Dubroy the other way. Caden Dubroy. Sharp angle chance off the mask of Schuker, and that'll knock the mask off his face, and that'll make a stoppage here. And we talked about the adjustment period. One thing I always look back at is that year where the battalion came out of COVID, where they had all this young talent, and Ty Nelson, who was the first overall pick, and Dallin Wakely, and it still took them some time. They were also a year older at that point because of the pandemic. Still took them some time to find their footing at the major junior level. And when they did, man, did they ever find their footing. But it still took a little bit of a feeling out period for the first 5 or 6 games, I would say, in the OHL.
Yeah, and I think that happens everywhere. You see that with the current squad right now.
Just not as much high-end talent, I would say, as there was coming out of the pandemic for the battalion. Gray takes a shot. That's kicked aside by Wilcox. Plus, they also had the benefit of Mitch Russell and Brandon Coe masking a few of the growing pains. Whitelaw, backhand chance. Couldn't quite find his way past the lineman, though. Now Coleman has it at the red line. Flips it down. Saginaw, the most recent goal scorer, just makes it go deep. Now Brownlee with speed. Up the ice. And it's sent back in by Gray. And Wilcox stops that with his glove. And we'll get a stoppage here.
And it's interesting how each level, especially from developmental leagues, all have their own different challenges. When you look at the OHL, of course, it's the same as college hockey. There's turnover that's constantly happening. Yeah, there are trades and stuff happens. Then you get down into the NOJHL where it is here, and yeah, there's still trades and stuff, but you get a lot more guys who are going to be coming in mid-season who are going to be dropping maybe out of hockey entirely, or they decide to go play in different leagues and different, even in the U.S. or other places around. And it becomes even harder to try to build leagues or build teams.
Another shot is stopped by Wilcox. Yeah, I mean, every time that the NOJHL season starts, we always say in our first few broadcasts, the team that you're seeing out there right now on the ice is going to be very different than the team that you see in January after the trade deadline. And that's especially true here this year with the Voodoos. And I mean, even some of the top guys, you look at a guy like Nathan Pelche, you thought you were going to have him for the whole year, but instead he drops out to go play with some friends in a league in the U.S. So, I mean, you never know what's going to happen with some of these kids as they go through the year.
And it's tough, too, because they're so young and because they're at a very pivotal time of their year where most people are going into university, figuring out life paths. They also have to figure out what's right for them. And sometimes when you're in this level, you got to really ask yourself, how far can you go into hockey, and at what point do you decide to focus maybe more on different priorities?
Puck kept in by the Voodoos. Sakic tried to get it past Smith, couldn't. Now Viscu kept it in. Viscu trying to dance his way towards the net, threw it out front. Russo had the puck just hop away from him. Now the puck back down the ice, and icing is the call. So we'll get another stoppage here.
Yeah, and I think the Voodoos will be happy to play this style of hockey right now. Obviously, they'd love to get another goal to keep it from being a shot away from a tie game, but a lot of back and forth play, a lot of dead time. Already killed off 6.5 minutes of this third period. And Kirkland Lake has not looked like a threat so far. Even on that power play, we saw a very solid defensive play from the Voodoos.
For the neutral zone, Nobes. And that is way offside by Abrish.
And even there, that's another killer there from Abrish, who's about a foot offside almost, as he tried his best to do the good old one-knee slide to stay onside. But that's the kind of stuff, that momentum, that's really going to hurt you as well from making plays happen. And now the Gold Miners will look to try to set up again to get into the Voodoo zone.
Puck off the draw. The Gold Miners have it. Now walking back in. Down behind the net. Call picks it up, tries to get it out. Brownlee stopped it up momentarily. Now the puck back through the neutral zone and into Voodoo's territory to Box on the far side. Tries to play it out. Now back to the near side. As the puck comes out, Kirkland Lake sends it all the way back down to their own end. And Schuker gets to it. Schuker leaves it. That's Gray that has it, but now the puck was picked off by Coleman. Thrown cross ice quickly by Whitelaw, but back down to the Voodoo zone. Now Rive, that's going to be a penalty here against the Voodoos. And it's going to be Whitelaw who's going to go.
Well, just like we saw at the beginning of the period, another undisciplined penalty here from Powassan. We've seen that all, and you kind of see it in the face of Peter Goulet on the bench. He's not too impressed with Whitelaw there. As it's tough, and I mean, McGunthin's still in that penalty box as he's still playing off from that head contact penalty. That's how I'm get a 10-minute on top of his 2-minute minor. Oh, and so now it looks like it's going to be 4 minutes, so a double minor. We'll have to wait for the official call here, but not good news for Powassan.
No, they're going to have to kill off a lot of time here. They did good on their last penalty kill to do so. But off the hop here for Kirkland Lake. Nearly looks to be buzzing. Nobes with the puck. And if they score within the first 2 minutes, they still stay on the man advantage. Tingay lost it. Now Viscu couldn't quite get it out. It's kept in. Shunborn on the far side. Plays it back. Nobes has it. To Abrish. Abrish flips it in deep. Back out front. That one just missed its target. Nobes walking around. Walks the line to the near side for Tingay. Back to Nobes. Nobes with a shot. Wilcox making another save here as he's up to 22 shots against now to 23 against Kirkland Lake.
Well, it doesn't get easier for Whitelaw, so just thinking about what happened as McGunthin now out of the penalty box. It was so obviously is the 2 minute for interference that we saw, but also a 2 minute unsportsmanlike conduct. So those are the extra penalties that you give up that are just not needed. And he's just hoping as he's sitting on the penalty box that does not come back to haunt them. Again, we talked about how good this power play been so far for Kirkland Lake.
Puck off the with a shot there was Kirkland Lake. Wilcox didn't see it until it was sitting and just kind of rolled next to him. Gray flips it into the corner.
Smith lipping in front as he got a puck right off the ankle.
To Gray, now Ficker. Ficker back to Gray. Gray faking the shot. And the puck rolls away from his man and down back to the blue line. Ficker gets it back in deep. Schneider walks in. Another save made there by Wilcox. 2:30 has now another chance. Another stop. Another save, Wilcox, as he got a couple on that one. And now he's going to cover things up as Tyson Wilcox with his best sequence here of this game.
And probably the most dangerous we've seen the Gold Miners in this third period or even in this game. And we mentioned how dangerous they looked on the power play. Outside of that first power play at the beginning of this period where they couldn't get anything going, that one was really dangerous. And a great job from Ficker earlier on in that sequence to keep the puck in. And that's something that when you're able to keep the puck in and keep pressure on the offensive zone, keep them from changing, it makes it that much harder for them to get a breather.
Shunborn off the draw has the puck on the far side, battling with Coleman. He ties his man up. And now walking in from the side, Abrish tried to get it out front, but it was pushed away by the Voodoos. Now back to the point for Tingay. 2 minutes gone. Now is another chance. And as the puck just sat there, the Gold Miners couldn't buy a man in the area, though, to try and get a shot away. Now Viscu clears it down the ice, and it's played by Schuker. Minute 46 on the man advantage. Still a 2-1 game for the Voodoos. Now Abrish dancing his way through the neutral zone. Got it into Voodoos territory. Tried to pass it out, but it's fanned on, and Dubroy was right there to pick up the loose puck and send it right down the ice. Now McGunthin had the puck, tried to bat it out of the air. He nearly did, but he's still able to disrupt some stuff. Gets it to Dubroy, who's able to play it back. And now DeBox plays it back up for McGunthin as the Voodoos are killing a whole bunch of time here on the man advantage. Minute 15 left on that double minor.
And nobody's going to be happy about that than the guy who's in the penalty box currently, Whitelaw, who, again, interference and an unsportsmanlike conduct. They've killed off 3 minutes of it so far.
Ficker back in on the attack. Goes for a skate. Gets it back to Gray at the blue line. Gray takes a shot. Another stop there by Wilcox as he's come under fire here with the man advantage for Kirkland Lake. 40 seconds left. Wilcox pointing out the open man. Viscu comes in to try and block that as the puck is still in the near side corner. Just stuck in there as the Voodoos are content to kill as much time as they can. Now comes out Gray, takes a shot. He picked his corner, but put that one wide. Smith, who had left the bench, has come back. Good to see. 20 seconds now on the man advantage. Gray with some speed from around behind his net. Gray through the neutral zone. Gains the Voodoos zone, and Kratz blocked it. But now the puck is still loose. Comes to Coleman. Coleman flips it down the ice. And Schuker out to play it. And that will kill off this double minor. Whitelaw back out onto the ice. Coleman plays the puck. Flips the puck out of his own zone, and it's back out for Tingay to the far side. That's Machoylin. Plays it around for Wilcox. Kratz has it played down the ice, but that's going to not go for icing as it hit a gold miner on its way. Puck comes loose. Call has it. Owen Call behind the net. Leaves it. Smith in there. Smith in the corner. Plays it behind the net. He was looking for Misa, and Misa couldn't quite get to it. Now the other way, Kirkland Lake walking in. Good defensive effort by Smith to negate a dangerous looking chance there. Now Smith gains the red line, flips it in, and Schuker will just glove that down, and we'll get a stoppage here. 7:31 left in the third period. We've reached the mid-period break in this third period, and we'll be back with more on the other side of this.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we welcome you back inside the Powassan Sportsplex. I'm Courtney Kenny, and pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent. As we're back here at the Sportsplex for the back half of this third period. 2-1 Voodoos lead against the Gold Miners. 26-23 are the shots on goal in favor of the Gold Miners, though.
Yeah, and again, looking at that might be the best opportunity for Kirkland Lake in this third period. You get 4 minutes of time. You get an absolutely, as the Voodoos are still at their bench here, as the Gold Miners quickly are back. We still have about 4 seconds left in the mid-period break, but again, might be the best opportunity for Kirkland Lake to get into the game, as Rotundo now gingerly coming off the ice there.
Smith still a little bit hobbled up as he goes off the bench briefly. Saginaw, another shot, and that one's stopped by Schuker. Now into the corner, or the near side half wall. Whitelaw with the puck takes another chance. That one's blocked before it ever got close to the net. Puck back down the ice, tipped into Voodoos territory. Coleman gets to it, plays it to Saginaw. Saginaw battling for it. Puck rolls out front. Dubroy collects it, and he's just going to tip it down off the glass and down the ice. And Whitelaw beats out the icing. Good play there by Whitelaw, who might be in Peter Goulet's doghouse here, so he's going to want to have a good finish to this game as Russo takes a shot. That one just hit the side of the net. Back to Coleman. Coleman with a chance, tipped on net. Schuker makes a big save on that one to keep this one close. Still 2-1 with 6:40 left.
Yeah, and a good opportunity there. Of course, Powassan, they really just want to get one more in the board here before they have to deal with potentially having to deal with an empty net here. Again, 2-1, 6:40 left to go, and I think it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle here, really, for Kirkland Lake, the way this game's going, to try to tie it, but Powassan would love just one more.
It'll be interesting to see how much Brunton and Head play now that we're into the tight moments of this game, as a backhand chance is turned aside by Wilcox. Now back out front. No one was there, and the puck comes out of the zone. Flipped back down the ice. Wilcox blocks it to DeBox. DeBox near side on the half wall. Russo picks it up. Now Rive gets it out to McGunthin. McGunthin flips across ice to DeBox. DeBox has some space. Gains the blue line. Flips it in. McGunthin chasing after it. Now the puck flipped back in and held there along the wall, but Rive can't keep the line. Now he ties up Snyder. Good to not take a penalty there. Rive gets to it, throws it cross ice. And call on the far side. Misa. It's picked up again by Sakic, going the other way. As now that's going to go for offside against the Gold Miners here, and almost look in disbelief on that one. But 5:38, we got a stoppage here.
Yeah, but he was about a foot offside that time. Very easy, probably one of the easiest offside calls you're going to make in this game, as again just being a little too fancy in the neutral zone before going across. And those are the kind of momentum killers. We've seen it a couple of times in this game for Kirkland Lake, as they just haven't been able. But we saw it a little bit earlier as well. This game can turn on a dime, and they almost a few minutes ago ended up tying it up.
Misa took a high stick, so that'll draw a penalty here against Kirkland Lake late as the Voodoos play the puck the far side. Smith on the near side now, gets the puck down. DuBroy plays it for Call. Call has it knocked away from him just as Wilcox got to his bench. Now Wilcox has to go back, saying, come on, guys, you couldn't have played the puck a little bit longer?
And, so that's a big penalty to take. It's going to be Nobes is going off. This is a big penalty, as with assuming that the Voodoos, even if they just kill time, will only have 3 minutes left in this hockey game. But also, again, looking for that elusive third goal. This is a great opportunity. We have not seen their power play really tonight, and we're going to get a chance to here.
Off the draw, Misa plays it back on the near side to Boys. Boys back for Smith. Cross ice now. Another chance. Turned aside as it was blocked. Now played back in. Misa tried to play it to Call. Call now has it. In deep. Boys. Back to Call at the point to Smith. Smith. Near side to Whitelaw. Whitelaw twists towards the net. Took a shot. It was blocked though. And the puck back down into Voodoos territory. Whitelaw stops up. Smith has it now. Back for Misa. Misa walking in. Going for a skate. Plays it on the far side to Call. Call takes a shot. That one's stopped by Schuker. Now the puck on the near side half wall. Whitelaw plays it to Boys. Under a minute now on the man advantage. As we're going to see the helmet come off of Schuker again. As that's happened a couple of times now this game. We're about 56 seconds left on the man advantage.
Look at your math going.
Not very well. But you weren't good in geography. I wasn't good at math.
Well, to be fair, I'm fantastic at geography. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, now we are.
Anyways,
now you are.
Yeah, I'm. That's my last name, Geography.
Ben Geography. Sergeant's the middle name?
Yeah, it's the middle name. I usually don't put that one, but you can check my license if you want.
We're just going to flash your license up with all the information on the screen. Anyone who wants to steal Ben's identity.
You can take my debt, too. It's fine.
Puck off the face-off. Kratz has it, creating all sorts of havoc in the Kirkland Lake end. And it's played in deep for DuBroy. Now on the near side wall. Comes out. That's Saginaw. Flips it to the far side. DuBroy gets to it. Plays it back for Saginaw. Saginaw was trying to twist with Kratz on that, and now down the ice it goes. Abrish is going to play it around for Viscu. Voodoos have about 20 seconds that they're playing with here. Just under. Russo. Back down for DuBroy. Walking in. Gets it back to Saginaw. Saginaw with a shot. That one's tipped towards the net. Schuker makes a save. Couple of chances at it, and Schuker's dead on the ice. The puck is still loose. Right there, we can see it clear as day from where we are that it never crossed the line.
And I think what Caden DuBroy is trying to argue his case of, you could see the puck there. Now, of course, referees are they're taught to blow the whistle when you can't see the puck anymore, especially in that situation. You want to protect the goaltender, but I think DuBroy was just saying, hey, the puck's right there, and that would have been an easy chip in. But either way, we're now starting to get into the point of the game where with 3:10 left, you start looking at what point do you think about pulling the goaltender? At what point do we see that? We still probably got about a minute and a half before we get to that point, but still we're back to 5-on-5.
Rive keeps the puck in, threw it towards the net, hit a stick and went wide. Call tried to take it from a sharp angle, couldn't quite get it towards the net though. Boys battling for it. Puck still loose. As it comes around to the near side, Rive couldn't quite get there. Now it's going to go all the way down to the Voodoos end to box. First one back, so I'll go for icing here with 2:48 left in the game.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game to reflect on, I think, if you're Kirkland Lake. Regardless of how the next 2:48 goes, I think you got to be pretty happy with your performance. Again, when you look at where you are in the standings and how you performed this season, you went up against a pretty middle of the standings team right now in the Voodoos, who are good but not an elite team in this league right now. But they're still a good team, and you held their own, and really it could have gone either way at any point.
Off the draw, Whitelaw's shot. It sails high and over the net.
Thank you, so I can finish my point. But if you're the Voodoos, I think you got to look at this game with a bit more of a concerning look when you think about, I think, where they want to be. Again, yes, they are missing quite a few players, but
again off the draw, Whitelaw's shot goes wide.
I'm not sure if they're going to be too happy with the performance overall.
Saginaw at the blue line, plays it to the near side. Whitelaw has it. Whitelaw throws it towards the net, was looking for a rebound, and it missed. Now to Box, plays it up for Saginaw. Saginaw lost it, and now the Gold Miners going the other way. Kirkland Lake through the neutral zone. Hall rather, plays it back. Out front it comes. Shot saved by Wilcox. One of his biggest of the game. We talked about the sequence earlier, but Wilcox, at this point in the game, that's probably his biggest one yet.
Yeah, and that's why that elusive, as it's going to be a timeout here for Kirkland Lake. We talked about that elusive third goal, how important that is, and that is exactly why it's so important. You know, if that ends up going in, now we're a tie game with, 2 minutes to go, probably going into overtime at that point. And then who knows what happens when you get into overtime, because it's not 5-on-5. Like, it's kind of a lawless, I think it's 3-on-3, isn't it?
3-on-3 for 7 minutes.
So it's a bit of a lawless territory there, and anything can happen. But I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Gold Miners this evening for the game that they've played. Yes, I don't think the Voodoos are going to be too happy with where they think they should be, and it looks like they're going to pull the goalie right out of this timeout. So I think the thinking here, is that I don't know if that's a sentence, but I think the thought, that's the same thing, is that this might be their best opportunity to tie things up with an offensive zone draw with 2:12 to go.
Oh, my goodness.
Man.
It has been a day.
This is why Fridays are a weird day.
Yeah, they are. You're fried from the week, and you're like, I just can't wait for Saturday tomorrow.
That's why it's called Friday.
Oh, there it is. So 6-on-5 here for the Gold Miners, as they look to get the tying goal. Near side was looking for Abrish. Couldn't find him. As the puck still down there. Fichtner to the far side. Going for a skate. Comes away to the near side. It's knocked away, however. Kratz is able to flip it down the ice. That should have the legs for icing as it hit the edge of the puck, and it rolled. So now we're going to have another offensive zone draw here on 6-on-5 for the Gold Miners.
Well, this is the time you want to clench the end of your seat, because it's going to be like that. And sometimes when there's this open net down there, you can try to do too much as you try to ice the game. I think if you're Powassan, you just got to keep your cool, and if you're Kirkland Lake, you just got to keep the momentum and keep the pressure on.
Leonars plays it in deep. Puck comes out front, takes the shot. That one hit a body and went wide. Now Fichtner with it. Still battling for it. It comes loose. McGunthin sends it down the ice. That hits the side of the net. You can't come much closer than that, as it literally hit the post. And now we'll get another icing call against the Voodoos.
Well, he'd fit right in on our second period at intermission, where also a Trapper player having some issues.
Are you going to call that out the next time you do a Trappers game?
Potentially.
Who the player was?
We'll see. You'll have to tune in for that one.
That is called a tease. 1:25 here on the clock. And the Gold Miners win the puck off the draw. Leaners back to the point. Nobes back for Leaners. It's on the far side wall. Plays it in deep. Sakic has it behind the net. Sakic tries to get it out front. It's picked up by Powassan. And now Tingay keeps it in. Nobes takes the shot. That one just went wide. Abrish tried to bank it in. Now Sakic tries to punch it in. And now another chance comes back to the blue line, but not out, as Kratz gets to it on the final minute now. Frantic action here for the last few seconds. Puck along the end wall. Voodoo's trying to get it out, and they do. Now McGunthin gets it to the blue line, tries to tap it towards the net, and that one just goes wide. Still puck in Gold Miners territory. Voodoos can't come away with it. McGunthin, his stick all knotted up there. And now the Gold Miners back the other way. Boyley walking in, tried to cut around the net, stopped up, thought better of it. Now he plays it back to the corner. and is sent down by the Voodoos. That should go for icing, and it will. As getting down there quickly is Gray. 19.4 seconds left. That's all the time Kirkland Lake has to work with here. 2-1 game for Powassan.
I'll give them a lot of credit if they do tie this up. They definitely deserve it. That was a very shaky time there, and a lot of things can happen, but this might just be it with 20 seconds left. Big face-off.
Voodoos win it back to Box, gets to it, sends it around on the far side. Viscu picks it up. Viscu sends it down the ice, and that'll ice it. Daniel Viscu, his 4th of the season. And Powassan is going to skate away with another victory here. A 3-1 victory over the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. That should all but do it.
And that's a really tough goal, I think, for Kirkland Lake to give up because of how well they played in that last 2 minutes of game time. They really played with their heart and soul there, but just couldn't get it by. And the one thing they did really well was put a lot of puck and traffic in front of the net. As you see the Sportsplex starting to head to the door, fans, as this will pretty much do it. A big clinching goal there, but maybe a little bit too close, I think, for a lot of fans to care about.
And that will end it here. The Voodoos get their 20th win of the season here in exciting fashion. A 3-1 victory over the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners, whose season continues to spiral. And after falling here 3-1, Ben,
yeah,
what are your thoughts here?
When you look at Kirkland Lake, it's kind of weird because obviously they're not going to get any points, but they're going to get some moral victories and how well they played. Unfortunately, that doesn't really mean much when it comes to the standings. But overall, I think Kirkland Lake has to be very happy and proud of the performance they had. And the Voodoos, on the other hand, yes, they got the 2 points. Yes, they won. They continue their winning streak here as they are going to go on this long and lengthy road trip that's going to see them go all over Ontario and into the U.S. coming up into the month of February. It's going to be a harsh month, but it's a big win. As you see, there's a nice little, how about that at center ice, Mike Brito.
Mike Brito getting a picture of Ben Brunton, Owen Head, and Martin Broussard, all the Trappers teammates getting a picture out there.
Yeah, which is really nice to see. I'm sure that'll be a talking point when they get back together in practice and in their next couple of games, and a big moment for those two. But overall, I think the Voodoos have a lot of stuff they want to go back to the drawing board to make sure that they maybe come out a little bit stronger than they felt. But overall, they got to be happy with the win, and that's what they got.
So Fichter getting 3rd star of the game. Tyson Wilcoxon is 27 saves, getting 2nd star of the game. And the 1st star is going to Ryan Saginaw, who had quite the game-winning goal here at the Sportsplex.
As well as his first in the Noj, his first for the Voodoos, and that's a big goal. And hopefully that'll let him settle down a little bit as he finally gets the monkey off his back and he's able to settle down and put more in the back of the net.
Also of note, general manager of the Voodoos, Chris Dawson, celebrating 400 victories here this evening as the Voodoos skate away. So that's quite the milestone. 400 victories in the NOJHL. He's been around for a while.
He definitely has, and he's seen a lot of ups and downs with this Voodoos team, and hopefully it's going to be a little bit more of an up this year, as so far they've had a pretty good season and they're looking to continue it.
Yes, indeed, and that'll do it for this one here on the Frontline Game Day broadcast. I'm Courtney Kenny, he's Ben Sargent. Mike Brown, our camera operator. Cassie Millen getting some wonderful stuff at ice level as well for us here tonight on social media. So I'll say goodbye for now. I guess it's goodbye for about a month here from the Sportsplex.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalie resiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.